Great people. Happy Wednesday. I hope everyone is doing well. I look forward to giving you all today's weekly update. Thank you all for joining me, and I will get started in just a moment. Thank you all for logging in, tuning in. I will get right into our standard updates, and forgive a couple of minutes tardiness, just working through our technical navigation during this time. I hope everyone is doing well. And so to begin on this week's update, I will go over coronavirus updates and relief efforts as usual, coronavirus testing updates. I will share new partnerships and resource events. I'll also share updates on homelessness, encampment cleanups, our Compton Street Reconstruction updates, as well as live questions and discussion. So feel free to just drop your questions below, and I'll feel free to definitely incorporate those at the end as usual. Proceeding forward, as of 8 p.m., 7/27, we are 2,665 confirmed coronavirus cases within the city of Compton. There have been 36 deaths. Countywide, there are 178,642 coronavirus cases and 4,426 deaths. Just to give you all some statistics by race or ethnicity, there have been 54,846 confirmed COVID-19 cases throughout LA County, and also 4,774 deaths of confirmed cases of African Americans as well. In terms of fatalities, the proportion is similar. 1,976 Latinos have been impacted by COVID-19 deaths, and also 441 African Americans as well. So per Governor Gavin Newsom, there is a update mandate. We're still within phase 2. Many closures are still consistent. I know many people are navigating the new terrain of how to educate our kids in light of these new restrictions with these school districts, particularly in the city of Compton. I've been apprised that students will be distance learning, and teachers currently are planned to actually teach in the classroom, which does present some challenges to their health and wellness as well. But I will keep you all updated as I receive additional information about that. Also, the city of Compton did approve an ordinance which requires that you wear a mask in public. Without a mask, you will receive a citation. I want to thank everyone that contributed to our poll from last week and the week prior on this. It's really critical that we do all that we can to keep our community safe, our families safe. That requires wearing a mask, that requires social distancing, and that requires just practicing sanitation guidelines that are above and beyond necessary in order to stop the spread of COVID-19 within our community. I will now go into relief efforts. There are many food distributions that are still taking place within the city of Compton. All of these resources are also listed on our resource guide online. You can access that at www.comptoncity.org/COVID19.ASB. This resource guide was updated as of last week, and so you can get a full breakdown of the specific locations of food pantries operating. There are several operating today between Greater Zion, which is located on Wilmington, actually occurring now, as well as the Compton Food Pantry operated by the Compton Chamber of Commerce, operating now and throughout the weekend. They have been serving hundreds of individuals within the city of Compton, and they have great quality food. And so if you know of a family, or if you yourself are in need, please access these resources. We are here to serve you. Moving on to testing, as I mentioned last week, the Department of Public Health is moving forward with installing a testing site in Compton. We're really happy about that. We obviously have the need as a community of color. The location is being finalized, but the proposed locations are Gonzalez Park and Burrell McDonald Park. These details will be worked out this week, and they plan to actually begin testing as later next week, and the testing will extend from Monday through Friday of each week. We will also keep you posted on additional details. We also have a tentative date of August 11th for the City of Compton's employee testing in partnership with Assemblymember Mike Gibson and St. John's. So I'd just like to thank those partners for this effort to ensure that we can screen all of our Compton employees as well. I received a question last week, will teachers qualify? Absolutely, we're all in this together. Anyone that is serving our community at large, we'd like you to come get tested as well. Also, we are working on an additional date for a mass testing event in the community for August with our original partner, Trap Heals. We are bringing Buy COVID back once more for additional testing opportunities. So our goal is to make sure that you have access throughout the week, on the weekends, and that you can also minimize those wait times for testing. Our resource guide also has been updated to reflect the most current testing facilities in Compton and surrounding areas. So please access that and make your appointment today if you feel necessary. Also, moving forward to new partnerships and resource events, New Orleans Pelican player Drew Holiday and his wife Lauren have made a generous donation to donate the remainder of his salary to help small Black-owned businesses. They chose a few different cities, and Compton was blessed to be one of those selected. We did post this information yesterday, and I know that we received some comments wondering, well, what about the Hispanic community, the Latino community? Well, I can assure you that the city of Compton is moving forward with an additional program for small businesses, obviously, which will impact our Latino community members, which Compton is predominantly Latino, so they will definitely benefit at large. And then also we have a rent assistance program that we're finalizing to make available to you all very, very shortly. So looking forward to that announcement as well. I shared some of those details last week. Also, relating to this particular partnership with Drew Holiday, they're requesting that businesses with 250 employees or less apply. So they're really focusing on small businesses. Anything over 250 employees will not be considered, and the deadline to apply is August 1st. So I just want to thank all of you that are spreading the word about this opportunity. And again, there are more opportunities coming. We're also working very hard on a pilot program to provide some additional income for residents of Compton. So as those details are finalized, I will share them with you. But just know we are working daily to get you all more resources to help navigate this pandemic. Also, homeless encampment cleanups are underway. We're really excited to see this come into fruition. From Rosecrans and the 710 freeway, Hoppix will perform a site visit to this encampment on Wednesday, July 29th, which is today, and also tomorrow, July 30th. During the site visit, Hoppix will provide health services, COVID-19 testing, and offer other wraparound services. So this population, not only will they be offered an additional place to live, but they also will be provided services in the event that they do not wish to move. Also, along the Alameda Corridor on August 3rd, Hoppix, LASA, and the Union Pacific Railroad, and as well as the City of Compton and the LA County Sheriff will participate in a joint cleanup project spearheaded by the city to address the railroad tracks. Starting at 920 North Alameda, which is near El Segundo on the east side of Alameda, and we'll be heading south all the way to the freeway for cleanup activities. Hoppix will also provide COVID-19 testing to those without shelter. And this will be an ongoing effort until the entire area is covered. So if you travel after August 3rd and maybe a week later and you see only a portion was done, well, just know that this team effort, they anticipate that this full cleanup may take anywhere from 4 to 5 weeks. So this will be a continuous effort. Also, beginning July 27th, Hoppix will incorporate both of these locations into the regularly scheduled outreach and informing the homeless persons in the encampments of future cleanup activities. So we do have a street team in Hoppix going out to prepare this population for this move and also just cleaning up this area. So I'm really thankful to everyone on the ground level that is working to make this happen. Also, moving into Compton Street Reconstruction projects. As promised, I have some details and dates for you all regarding our Capital Improvement Program 1801 as well as our Grind and Overlay Program. I'll start with CIP 1801 first. The budget for these improvements is $3.2 million. Week ending July 24th, the entire program was 24% complete. The estimated completion date is on or after December 18, 2020. So this is a funded program that will continue to operate through December to complete these full reconstruction efforts. Last week, Tejada, Caldwell, and Murr were worked on. If you live in this area, you saw them cutting on Tejada to be prepared for this week's activities. They also removed concrete on Tejada. They have continued to grind and remove full AC removals on Murr Street. So on Murr, there's only westbound is open. So if you're traveling eastbound, you have to take an alternative route. But they have already removed one side of Murr down to the dirt. So more improvements happening there, as well as placing concrete for new ramps, curbs, and gutters and driveways are beginning on Caldwell. And Caldwell will begin at Oleander to West City limits. So looking forward to those improvements. And we're also scheduling work on 134th and Elva, as well as Grandee and Bradfield and Alondra. And so I did request the current updated schedule for construction, and Grandee will actually begin in October. It was originally scheduled to actually begin work at the end of August, early September, but the work that occurred on Murr was really beyond what the original contractor anticipated, and so they did experience some delays working on Murr, which kicked the project schedule down. But I will keep you all updated. This is a tentative schedule, but I do want to let you know that you will see activity in this area at that time. So if you have any questions, please let us know. Also, contractors' working hours are from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. They are subject to change due to impact of the community. So if you are experiencing any issues with that, feel free to always contact our office as usual. I will now go into our grind and overlay program, which they have begun work on 129th, 132nd, Tucker Street, Mayo Avenue, Chester Avenue South, and Victoria Street and Compton Boulevard. So these areas were completed or are almost complete. I also received a couple questions last week regarding Chester Avenue. So from Greenleaf to Compton Boulevard is being worked on now. And then there is a plan to move forward on the other side of Compton Boulevard on the north side and address Chester from Compton to Rosecrans. So we are really focusing on completing complete streets and also prioritizing areas of high traffic. So we will continue to work through this. And we're also preparing our extensive public works update, which will give you all, just for those that like to get into the details, we're going to go into the very deep details of what's happening with our streets, what's planned. We'll talk about our funding strategy, which is on time. I'm really thankful for that as well. And all of the construction that will be planned nonstop for the next several years in Compton. So we finally made it to this point, everyone. So again, no construction. Construction will continue for the next several years until all of our streets are completed. So all areas will be addressed. We're just going in the order of the most need and the highest traffic. So I'll keep you updated. Also, prior to the start of Grind and Overlay project by Hardy and Harper, the contractor also did notify the residents of the working dates and also when they would be in that particular project area. So notices are being provided, and also posted street signs are also up in this area, and I actually went through to verify this, so I know that they are there. Also, he did give you all that info. Also, Mayo Avenue and Tucker, they were a part of that first grouping that I just discussed, and then also the portion of Compton Boulevard was also addressed. They will go back and include the striping once the concrete sets, so we will see improvement on that as well. Just more detail on this. Victoria Street in Wilmington, the intersection there was also addressed. We do plan additional improvements on Victoria on Compton's side. Victoria is one of the streets, as well as Wilmington, that is half owned by Compton and Carson, so we'll be working together to also address Victoria in the near future. Also, I want to just encourage those of you that are staying in tune about what's going on. It's really critical that we have factual information out there. There are more information updates being prepared for you all. I'm really big with using visuals, and so we're using different formats to be able to incorporate that. To my Instagrammers, I want to encourage you at some point to use our Zoom link so that you can actually see the graphics. And if not, we'll always post the recap to our IGTV stories to include those graphics for your reference. I'm going to see if there are questions grabbed by my team that I can address. And then also I just want to let you all know that we do have a special council meeting being planned for tomorrow. There are several measures that we will be addressing, one of which will be a measure for reform and to actually install some Compton community safety standards. And so I will share more information on the outcome of that meeting, and I probably will go live at the end of that meeting and give you all some more detail about what this particular measure is. But this vote for tomorrow will be reviewed by the council in order to place this item on the ballot for your action. This will give the city the ability to really install safety reforms within our sheriff's contract. And so this is something that we're looking forward to. And again, I'll share more details tomorrow. And then also there will be some additional updates to our charter for efficiency. For those of you that actually do vote in Compton, you realize that our elections are on an off cycle. And the majority of the state of California is actually on even years. And this was a state law that came out a couple of years ago. And due to the city of Compton's charter actually specifying the dates of when the elections should be held, we were precluded from actually making that change with the rest of California cities. And so this measure will give us an opportunity to get on even years, and also most critically at this point is to also save almost $1 million in this fiscal year. When we consolidate on our own and run our own elections, the cost is very exorbitant because we are not using the county's infrastructure, and we're not able to use economies of scale with existing plans for the election. So we have to literally run our own, which is very costly. The last election cost upward, and which was last year in 2019, cost upward of $1 million for just 2 districts. So for those that are aware, we have 4 districts in Compton. The next election, which does include the at-large seats, the mayor's seat, the treasurer, the city attorney, the city clerk, and then also districts 2 and 3 will be the city's major election. And so we're proposing that we extend this to 2022, get on the main election cycle with the rest of the state, and also increase voter turnout. And most critically to us at this point is save a critical tax dollar. So that will be before you for a vote. We'll also be looking at more efficiencies. The city of Compton is one of the only cities in California with a population of under 200,000 that actually has council meetings every single week. What this does is it really puts a strain on our resources staff-wise. There's a continual process of preparing for the agenda, debriefing for the agenda, and starting over again in this perpetual cycle. And so we're proposing that we would reduce the number of council meetings from 4 each month to 2 per month. And again, this would allow time, more time for staff to regroup and get some work done in a more efficient and effective way, and also would save funding as well from the drain and resources extending these meetings into the evening have with requiring staff. So that will be another proposal before you. We're also have another measure, a Measure P protection package. As you all know, we introduced Measure P some years ago to be able to generate a revenue stream to address our streets, to address our lights, to improve our parks, and also to secure safety and youth programs for the city. We are recommending some minimum percentages of how your funding will be used in the future, and effectively it creates a spending plan so that there's no question about how much money is being spent for streets, for lights, for parks, and other projects. And it also will lock in future administrations from redirecting your money to areas that you did not approve on the onset. So this will protect our tax dollars, really provide some more accountability, transparency, and give you all an effective tool to hold your elected officials accountable with your tax dollars. As well, we have a really robust capital improvement program coming forward at the latter part of September, early October, which is a fully funded capital plan to redo all of our streets as promised, also to complete our park renovations as promised, and also to install additional lighting as promised. And so this will all reinforce those efforts and get those projects done for you all in a very efficient and quick manner. We actually plan proceeding forward to actually have approximately $75 to $80 million in hand before the holidays, so that we can actually expedite additional projects throughout the city. So I will keep you all posted on these great updates. We are moving forward as promised. Progress and transformation does take time, but when you have a team committed to making that happen, we're able to have momentum and get more things done faster. And I just also want to note, for those that do get involved or pay attention to city government, our city manager, Craig Cornwell, he just concluded his first anniversary and evaluation in serving in this post. And this is a milestone that I wanted to mention, because when you have a stable city manager, you actually can have some stability and accountability with the way that services are delivered, and how your ability to manage staff and oversee staff and expect outcomes from them drastically improves when you're able to stabilize that position. And that has truly been an Achilles heel for councils of Compton that have continually tried this push and pull of three people voting to eliminate a city manager for power. I'll talk more about these dynamics, the political dynamics that I think you all should be aware of, so that you can have keep a watchful eye on your leadership at a later date. But I do want to just give you all an update on that, and to just give you all another indicator that this council, this team is stable, and we're moving forward to implement a better vision for our great city, which we know is definitely underway and within our reach. It takes all of us working together. So thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you. I do not see, actually I do have a couple questions here that I will address before I log off. And they're all street questions to preface that. It says, hi, is there a reason at all of why South Mayo was fixed just patches of the street? And the answer is, I'm sorry, what about Pearl Avenue from Greenleaf to Alondra? This was the same person that asked this question. So the Mayo South was actually stabilized as part of a different program, because the street was just literally crumbling. And we're actually going back to complete those streets that were just stabilized. So that is not the final outcome of that particular swatch of street. The next block, and heading all the way down to, I believe, Alondra, was fully resurfaced. So we will go back and address some of those small issues. But that was the reason. We were trying to stabilize the street when we had limited resources. Also, Pearl Avenue is on the priority list. We're really focusing on those streets, as well as Caldwell, East, those areas that are around schools that really receive high traffic. So you will see some movement on that. And the second question I have is a statement. My daughter is a tennis player trying to get a scholarship. We need courts to be open on Tragnew on 159th and Central. Please help. We have to travel far for practice. As you all know, our parks are closed during the pandemic. It is a fiscal concern, it's a safety concern, and so we are limiting access to particular park areas, but people are able to use parks in a socially distant way. Tennis is one of the sports that we're able to ensure some social distancing, and so I will raise this question, but it really is a point of staff being able to open the particular park during this time, understanding that we were in the pandemic and that we are actually prevented from operating parks and recreation until August 2021. The city actually eliminated certain positions for cost savings within this year's budget, which I went into a lot of detail in the last several weeks regarding the city's budget deficit as direct relation to COVID-19. So we had a $5 million shortfall that we had to make adjustments in real time, which did include eliminating certain staff positions. So this is very serious. I understand people want to use parks and continue to recreate, but we have to put safety first. So we will continue to keep you all updated on any reactivations of recreation in Compton. But right now, we're using this time to improve the facilities. We're doing much needed restroom improvements and other exterior improvements to parks. And then we're also taking the time to really extend partnership opportunities to existing nonprofits that can elevate recreation for our kids in the future. So we're gearing up for a really robust 2021, and I'll keep you all posted about that and other opportunities. So thank you all so very much. Again, I think I will actually go live after our special council meeting tomorrow just to give you all the details and updates about what transpired. And then I'll also go into more detail about the particular measures that the council ultimately approved. So I like to give you all information once it's finalized so that there's no confusion. So I'll wait until that's all wrapped up and then we're able to move forward and you all can hit the ground running with spreading the word. So thank you all so much. God bless you. It's an honor to serve as your mayor, and I will keep you in the loop. Take care. Bye-bye.